Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Now I've seen it. Holy crap. I like monsters. I like aliens. What do you want? I'm a simple guy.
I mean, that has to be the greatest title in all of cinema, right? That's how they do it in the 1950s. Slap on the craziest sounding title they could think of and hope some kid or some idiot kid would say,
"Holy crap, I need to see this!"
Except now we can make movies that actually live up to those titles. According to this conspiracy theory disguised as an animated feature by DreamWorks Animation, monsters are and always have been real. For the last 50 years they've been captured by General W.R. Monger and quietly swept under the rug because he works for the American government and they be like that. After all that time, they've managed to capture a total of 6 monsters. Seems like overkill, but then again, unlike every other super prison ever in fiction, this one actually seems to work. 5 decades and not one escape. These guys aren't going anywhere. That is until... Alien.
I'm not gonna kid you, Mr. President. These are dark times. We need a Hail Mary pass. We need raw power. We need... monsters.
Okay, how about we make that plan B and start off with a peaceful attempt at communication? Well then. They started it. First up, the missing link between fish and ape. Frozen and unearthed in the Arctic, he was the toughest monster of his time. Unfortunately, he was frozen for a while. His best friend is a kaiju named Insectosaurus. Insect plus dinosaur equals dog? I knew that. You didn't? Where did you go to school? Dr. Cockroach, PhD, the most brilliant scientist in the world, locked up because his completely successful experiment made people not want to look at him. Now on top of that brilliance, he is gifted with the survival skills of his namesake.
You can't crush a cockroach!
Well actually... And next is Bob. He's a blob. Oh no, not a bad bunch of guys. Thank God they all have close to human intelligence.
And that is why Uncle Sam is offering you freeloaders the chance to finally repay the government that has housed and fed you rent-free for the past 50 years. Any questions? Dr. Cockroach, you had one? That is not a question, son.
Oh, but let's not forget the newest addition to this monster mash, Ginormica. Originally a perfectly normal-sized woman, she was eventually locked up for the crime of being too tall. Now how does that happen? Well, there was a small incident at her wedding. Small being a word used ironically here because, good God! Here comes the bride!
Here comes the bride!
What the hell do you need me for? This kind of thing fascinates me. For several reasons, but most relevant here being that while Ginormica is classified as a monster, she looks mostly the same. Nothing a bathed up of hair dye can't fix. Think about that. She's labeled as something dangerous to be feared and locked away for everyone's safety, and she can't even hide behind an exoskeleton or a pair of fangs. She can't even lose herself to the creature she's become, because the creature she's become is just herself, but bigger. This woman needs a hug, but she is too big to hug! I cannot imagine a worse scenario!
We are in the presence of the rare female monster.
My joke to you?
Now technically she didn't actually finish getting married, so she has a little extra incentive to want out. All they've got to do is destroy that robot. This wouldn't be so much of an issue if the robot was not in fact programmed by the alien conqueror Galaxar to target quantonium, a powerful substance released by the destruction of an unknown planet brought to Earth through a chunk of strange debris which crashed to this wedding and is currently circulating through the veins of Susan Murphy. Which just happens to be the previous name of Ginormica.
Sounds to me like you'd better get started.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. Don't want a copyright strike. Don't want a copyright strike. I already chanced it, now I'm gonna get a copyright strike. They're not very good at this. They're really kinda bad. Oh, Jesus! Here comes Link's big moment!
Alright, so it's not a flawless victory, but the film's been really good so far, and this is where it all comes to a head and lives up to that title. I don't know how they're gonna top that. And neither did they.
Oh, hold on, Susan still needs to finish that wedding.
But I'm not looking to get married and spend the rest of my life in someone else's shadow.
You actual piece of crap! MVA is half of an awesome movie. The middle hits you hard and it just isn't able to keep that momentum going. It's still fun, it's not bad, but it feels like the energy spent, like we went from, ooh, this is weird, what's going to happen, to, okay, I see where this is going. The only way to make up for something like that is if the main villain ends up overshadowing the entire cast.
What the flagknot?
I'm about to witness a murder, aren't I?
Man, I feel bad for you. I feel good for you though, and your well-being means much more to me. I've always felt like there's a bigger problem at work here that holds the movie back, and I think I finally understand what it is. It's kind of like a B-movie, but it's not a B-movie. I mean, if this was intended as an homage to old monster flicks, it kinda sucks at it. Galaxar does say destroy all monsters at one point, and, you know, the main cast, but if you replaced monsters with mutants, you'd mostly have the same movie, which is a superhero action-adventure with DreamWorks' trademark sense of humor.
Which I like just fine, but why am I watching it at the drive-in? It's nice out here.
I want this film to be better. It's like, god damn it, you were so close, don't stop now! But, just like Ginormica would be in real life, it was crushed under its own weight.
You know, eventually that is just going to result in a gruesome death. But not this time.
So I guess the moral here is that being a monster is awesome, unlike the movie, which is just alright. I like you, I like you, I like you, you're fine. But the credits are rolling and I just don't feel like we're done here.
That's why they invented tie-in games. Or at least why I keep buying them. Okay, how do I do this exactly?
Hold up, Beanox? I do not believe for one second that there are two companies with that name. The guys who did that did this as well? I was not expecting that. Is that a good sign? A bad sign? I guess we'll find out.
Hey, Ginormica, if you're not gonna eat your oatmeal, can I have it, huh?
That is not a bad Seth Rogen, guy. You should give lessons.
Okay, that's it. First of all, my name is not Ginormica. It's Susan.
Not a bad Reese Witherspoon either.
Ginormica here is obviously still trying to adjust to her newfound monsterhood.
That is actually Ven, isn't it? So this follows the movie pretty close. I'm sure you all remember that scene where Ginormica gets fed up, leads a prison break, and they all get chased through the facility by a 1,000-foot-tall military robot?
Good way to start things, I'm glad they kept it in.
Gameplay's divided into three characters, Ginormica, the missing Link, and Bob. Ginormica skates on the world's sturdiest cars, Link's more of an action game with some platforming, and Bob is similar but with more puzzles than it has punching. The game opens with a Ginormica segment, and that was a bad decision.
Oh, look at me, I'm playing video games. Oh, jeez!
You can duck by pressing the crouch button.
And this whole time I've been using the duck button to crouch like a sucker. You know, I appreciate them lifting ideas directly from the film and implementing them creatively, but this feels more like a bonus level. And this is how you want to start the player off? I'm not your dad, but I don't think the on-rail skating segment is going to be anyone's favourite part of any game. Hopefully there's a little bit more going on with the other monsters. Here comes Link's big moment!
I didn't think that would be cool, but it was.
Would you believe this is actually pretty fun to play? You can smack enemies, pick them up and toss them around, hit things out of the air, and just as it's getting dull, the next thing you know, you're climbing up the side of this thing. They were really dedicated to making this spectacle work. I mean, look at all this crap on screen. What does this stuff even do?
We look pretty neato.
Agreed. I guess we'll see how Bob compares. Okay, so I'm jelly, so I'm gonna fall through there. So I pick up the box and... First a plop, then a drop, then a slop, then you pop! He moves a bit sluggishly, but then he's kinda slug-like. If you're gonna be solving puzzles, you'll want that extra control over what you're doing, if you want to be generous and call these puzzles. It makes for a nice contrast to Link segments. Plus, you can swallow enemies and just walk around like that if you like. Which I do.
Shh! I think I'm being watched.
No, you're being controlled. Don't worry about it.
So, you guys buy from the same store or what? But can your robots do this? Well, no, but now that you have one robot instead of several, I can do this.
Oh, come on!
By the by, that's monster DNA you're collecting. I'd just like to know, which monsters? Hers? Theirs? His? Why is there DNA spread out all over the desert outside Modesto, and more importantly, why is she picking it up?
God willing, she just wants to take her hot steaming DNA and pour it into Dr. Cockroach's DNA lab. Wait, does that sound worse? Huh.
The DNA lab serves as the unlockables menu. This seems like a decent selection. Oh dear god! Character commentaries? For a game? I've got to check that out. Is what I'd say if I could find the buy button.
Buy button!
You tried your best, Doc. Fell flat and hard, but I'm gonna give you a second chance. It says here a buddy can join in and blast away robots at any time. And they meant it. I swear I remember an advert where he's walking around in-game beside Link, but apparently not.
It seems pretty tacked on if you ask me. That's what they're for? That is game design!
Take this Bob level. You've got this room full of lasers and these control points are hidden behind these glass panels. So you slime onto the gears, rotate the glass panels off so the lasers can damage them, which then shuts them off, and then the panels become the next platforms to the next gear. It's almost like these rooms were specifically designed to be navigated by someone with the exact same abilities as Bob and not actually stop anyone from progressing. Isn't that interesting? Somebody put some real work into this. Did they not get the memo? This is a movie tie-in game. The whole point is that it's supposed to be bad. Are you trying to embarrass my daughter? This is not how the game is meant to be played, but if that's the way it wants to be, I guess we should let it. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Okay, I see what I'm doing wrong, but I refuse to learn from my mistakes. Let's go!
Bob, you're okay!
Oh. Guys, I like what you've got here, but you know what else I like? Peanut butter ice cream. I eat other things sometimes. How about a level where Galaxar hypnotizes Insectosaurus and we have to crawl around on him for a while? Instead of robots, it's mutant fleas. Or maybe a beach. Galaxar invades the beach. A sewer level. A warehouse level. Anything else. Do 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 do. Here we go again. I used a cover version of this song the last time and YouTube still did not like it. And she just puts it back, no big deal. Giving Ginormica's levels a second look? They're fast, simple, visually exciting, and most importantly, they don't outstay their welcome. Yeah, these are my favorite part of the game. I'm that guy.
Good night, Podesta!
Now this is stupid, but it really bugs me that she doesn't actually fight the robot probe like in the movie. In the film, that's the start of her character development. In the game, she just blows a scorpion up and decides,
I'm Ginormica now.
she does get the final boss for what that's worth. I mean, you'd want her to, she is the protagonist. She's the protagonist. She. Huh.
As far as movie games go, this is really good. Does that make it a good video game?
Movie tie-ins are cursed, and even if they weren't, they have everything going against them, but say you're a kid in 2009. If it came down to a choice between Monsters vs. Aliens the game or Coraline the game, you might have had too many consoles. Get this one.
I've got to hand it to you. The cards were stacked, but you guys pulled through. Good work, Beanox.
You can see the effort here. It's clear that DreamWorks wanted Monsters vs. Aliens to be their next big thing, joining the ranks of Shrek, Madagascar, and... I can see why that didn't work out, and I'm not happy about it.
There is nothing more frustrating than wasted potential, and whenever I see this movie, that's all I can think about. But that's enough out of me for one day. I should probably be getting home. I don't understand what's happening and I would like it to stop. What? At last, our search is over. What? Our long-lost emperor is finally large enough to be picked up by radar. What? Initiate the big crown. Okay.
Now don't get it twisted, I may rule an intergalactic empire now, but a Patreon pledge would still really help me out. But if you can't do that right now, you can just check out some of my other videos if you liked this one. If you didn't like it, I don't know why you would keep going. Stay positive and good night.